Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is 𝐕𝐢𝐫𝐭𝐮𝐼 and in today's video I'll explain you how to create a GCP VM with two network interfaces on Google Cloud using Terraform. So previously I created a video on how to create a GCP VM with two network interfaces manually. So in this video we are going to automate using Terraform. So first we are going to create two VPCs and we are going to create two subnets and we are going to create two firewall rules, and using these two network interfaces we are going to create a GCP VM. Okay, so let's do this everything in practical. So here you can see this is my Google Cloud Console. So first let's open Compute Engine. So here you can see currently we don't have a single virtual machine. So let me open VPC network. So here you can see we have only the default VPC and we have public VPC. So now let's create two different VPCs. Let's create like this. So first let's create VPC1 and let's create VPC2. And after that let's create subnet A and let's associate this subnet A to VPC1 and let's create firewall rule and let's attach this firewall rule to this VPC1. Okay. Same like this, we are going to create subnet B and we are going to associate this subnet B for VPC2 and we are going to create firewall rule and we are going to associate this firewall rule for VPC2. And using these two network interfaces, we are going to create a GCP VM. Okay, so let's do this everything in practical. So first let's create a folder in our local machine. Okay, so let me create a new folder and let's give the name like GCP-NW. Okay, network interfaces. So let me open VS Code here and let me open that folder. So this is the folder. I'm going to select this folder. So initially when we are going to working with Terraform, initially we need to create a provider.tf file. Okay, so first let's create that provider.tf file, provider.tf. So when you are going to working with Terraform, so here extension is .tf. Okay, so let me close this. So directly jump onto Google and here search for Terraform GCP provider resource. Okay, search like this and open this first link. So this is the Terraform official documentation. So directly drop down this and copy this entire provider resource. Okay, directly copy this, come to VS Code and you need to provide in provider.tf file. Okay, so here you can see Terraform required provider is Google we are using. So provider is Google. Okay, now directly remove this and again come to official documentation. Okay, so here you can see provider we are going to use Google. So we need to provide project ID and region and credentials. Okay, directly copy these two lines and come to VS Code and paste it here. So now here we need to provide project ID. Okay, so we need to provide Google Cloud project ID. So in which project we need to create this infra, it was asking. So I want to create in my first project. So this is the first project. So if you want to create in some other project, you need to copy this project ID. So now I'm going to create in this my first project. So we need to copy this project ID. So now we need to jump on to VS Code and we need to provide that project ID. So here we need to provide region. So I'm going with this region US Central 1. So now here we need to select zone. So here uh, let's select zone like US Central 1 way. Okay, US hyphen central one hyphen a. Okay, so you need to provide like this, and now here after that you need to provide credentials of our Google Cloud. So directly search for credentials. Okay, so now here you need to provide GCP credentials. Okay, so using these credentials only Terraform will authenticate with your Google Cloud account. Okay, so now to create that credentials, directly jump onto IAM and here you need to jump onto service accounts. And currently I have three service accounts. Okay, so let me create a new service account for today's video. So directly select here create service account. So let's give the name like Terraform hyphen GCP hyphen SCS stands for service account. Okay, so let's give the name like this. So here you can give the name whatever you want. So directly select here create and continue. So here we need to provide role for the service account. So here I'm going to give administrator permission. So here basic and owner permissions I'm giving. Okay. So directly select here continue and directly select here done. So now here you can see Terraform GCP-SCA service account has been created. So now if you want to see the roles for the service account, directly jump onto IAM and here you can find all the roles. Okay, so here you can see Terraform GCP-SCA. So just now we created this service account. So we have given owner permissions. Okay, so full permissions we have given. Okay, so now we need to download this service account JSON file. So again you need to jump onto service accounts and open this service account. Currently we have created this and directly jump onto keys and here you need to select add keys and directly select here create new keys and we need to select type as JSON and directly select here create. So here you can see a key has been downloaded to our local machine. So let me open this file manager and download. So here you can see a JSON key has been downloaded. So now we need to take this and we need to keep it here. Okay, so now here you can see this JSON service account key is used to communicate with our Google Cloud account. Okay, so using this JSON key only Terraform will communicate with our Google Cloud and it will provision all the infra. Okay, so now let me come here. So let me rename this. So rename to keys.json. So now we need to provide this keys.json in provider.tf file. So in credentials we need to provide. So here I'll open here dot slash keys dot json. Okay, so in credentials it will use this keys dot json file. Okay, so again I'm telling you this keys dot json file is used to authenticate with our Google Cloud account. So now I will do one thing. I will pass this project ID, region and zone from variable.tf file. Okay, so let me create a new file like variable.tf. So here variable is equal to we need to provide variable name like GCP hyphen underscore project underscore ID. So let's give the name like this and here we need to provide description. So description here let's give this is GCP project ID. So let's give like this and type is string. Okay, so type equal to string. So let's give like this. So now from here we need to pass our values. Default equal to here we need to provide our project ID. Okay, come to provider and copy this project ID and come to variable.tfl and provide here. Okay, so now we need to modify our provider.tf. So now I'm going to remove this var.project ID. Okay, so now it will take from our variable.tf file. Okay, so same like this I will copy this, copy, I'll paste it here. So now I will change this to region. So description, let's give this is GCP region and type is string. So here we need to provide our region US Central 1. Okay, so let me come to provider.tf file and copy this region and paste in variable file. Okay, in default we need to paste it here. So now we need to call from variable.tf file var.region. Okay, so it will take this value from this variable.tf file. It will take US Central 1. So now again I'm going to copy this, I'll paste it here. So same here I'm going to provide zone and here this is GCP zone. So let's give like this and here zone US Central 1A. Okay, so here you can see in provider.tf file we have given this US Central 1A. Let me copy this, let me come here, let me remove this and let me paste it this. Okay, zone is US Central 1-A. So same like this, remove this var.zone. Okay, so now let's initialize this. Let me open terminal, run add to file. So here currently we are inside of our folder, okay, gcp-nw. So let me hit terraform init, okay. So it will initialize with our terraform, okay. So now if you want to store this state file in our cloud storage, okay, we'll do that. So let's store our terraform state file in our backend. So let's use backend as a cloud storage bucket. So here you can see successfully it is installed with our terraform. So now let me jump on to cloud storage. So it is similar to AWS S3, guys. So when we are going to provision infra on AWS, we use S3 to store our state files, right? Terraform state files. So same in Google Cloud, we use cloud storage. So let me create a bucket manually. So here we need to create a bucket manually. So let's give the bucket name like Terraform hyphen state file bucket 01. So let's give the name like this and directly select here continue. And here I'm going with multi-region and continue. And I'm going with the standard storage class and continue and directly select here create. So now we are going to use this bucket to store our Terraform state file. Okay. So here you can see a bucket has been created. So now again open a new tab. So let me keep this. Okay, expand this. Okay. So now here, so not here. So Terraform code for GCP backend. So such like this. Okay. Open this first link and come down. So what this come down. Open this. So here you can see directly copy this resource. Copy this. Come to VS Code and create a new file backend.tf and paste that content here. Okay. So now here you need to change your bucket name. Okay. Directly open your Google Cloud Console, copy this bucket name and come to VS Code and paste it here. Okay. So inside this bucket we are going to store our state file on Terraform and /state folder. Okay. So now credentials. So here you need to pass your credentials. Our credentials is /keys.json. Okay. So now here you can see currently inside our bucket there is no rows to display. So now when I hit here Terraform init again, so here you can see successfully configured the backend GCS. Terraform will automatically, so here you can see Terraform will automatically use the backend unless the backend configuration changes. Okay. So now this Terraform will store. So now this Terraform will use this cloud storage bucket to use to store our state file. Okay. So let me open this. So let me refresh this page. So Terraform. So here you can see a folder has been created and let me open the state. So inside this you can find our default state file. So here you can see Terraform TF state. So this is the state file. So now inside the state file it will store all the configuration data. Okay. So from now let's start our configuration. So first we need to create a VPC. So before that let's open VS Code and let's create a main.tf file. Main.tf. Okay. Let me close this now. So from now we are going to create entire resources. Okay. So first let's create two different VPCs. So let me open a new tab here and now search for Terraform code to create GCP VPC. So search like this and open this first link and come down and copy this entire resource. Okay. So this resource is used to create GCP VPC. Okay. So let's come to VPC and paste it in main.tf file. So currently we are going to create a GCP compute network, that means GCP VPC, and here let's give the name like VPC1 we are going to create. So project, let's remove this. So already we have provided this on provider.tf file. Okay, so when you open this provider.tf file, here you can see we have given the project id from variable.tf file. It is taking this value. Okay, so now let me open this main.tf file and let me remove this mtu. So previously I created this everything manually. So if you haven't watched that videos, please watch that videos on my YouTube channel. I explain you each and everything how to create this manually. Okay, so now let me change this name to VPC1. Okay, so now a VPC1 will be created and auto creation subnets. Let's remove this false. Okay, let's convert this to false because we are going to create our custom subnets, right? So if you select here true, by default under this VPC1 nearly 30 to 40 subnets will be created automatically. Okay, so now let me copy this. So this resource will create VPC1. Okay, so now I will paste it here and I'm going to change this to VPC2, and here I'm going to create another VPC which is VPC2. Auto creation subnets is false. Okay, so now up to now we created two different VPCs. So these two resources are used to create VPC. Okay, so now we need to create subnets. Let me open a new tab and here search for Terraform code to create GCP subnetworks. Okay, directly open this first link and come down and copy this entire resource. So this resource is used to create GCP subnetworks. Okay, under VPC we need to create a subnetwork site. We need, so this is the resource. So secondary IP range, we don't need this right now. So here let's remove the tag name like subnet underscore one. So let's give, so currently we are going to create Google Compute subnetwork. Okay, so tag name I'm giving subnetwork one. So let's give the name like for this subnet one, and CID here let's give 10.0.1.0 slash 24. So I'm going to create with 256 IPs. Okay, so region, so previously we passed this region from variable.tf file. So here you can see region US Central 1. So I'm going to take this from variable.tf file. Okay, in main.tf file, remove this where.region. So it will take from our variable.tf file. So now here this is the main thing. So under which VPC you want to create the subnet, it is asking. So in network you can see we need to provide under which VPC you want to create. So G-Cloud Compute Networks dot we need to provide VPC1. Okay, VPC1 dot self link. Okay, so now this subnet 1 will be created under VPC1. Okay, so up to now we created subnet. So let me copy this, let me paste it here. So let me create subnet 2, and here name I'm giving subnet 2, and 10.0.2.0 we need to provide. Okay, 2.0, and here also I'm going to provide same region which is US Central 1. Sorry, let me check this. Yes, US Central 1. Okay, so same I'm going to provide here as US Central 1, and here I want to create this under VPC 2. Okay, so here you can see tag name is VPC 2 and dot self link. So now this subnet 2 will be created under this VPC 2. Okay, so let's do one thing. Let's for better understanding, let's write create subnet 1 under VPC 1. Okay, so let me copy this. So this subnet will be created under VPC 1, and this subnet will be created under VPC 2. Subnet 2 will be created under VPC 2. Okay, so now we need to create firewall rules. Okay, so we need to create two firewall rules, one for VPC 1 and one for VPC 2. So let me jump on to Chrome, and now Terraform code to create GCP firewall. Okay, such like this, open this first link and copy this entire resource. Okay, copy up to here, it is enough. So this resource is used to create GCP firewall rules. Okay, so now let me jump on to main.tf. Let me paste it here. So currently we are going to create a firewall rule, GCP compute firewall. Okay, so let's change this tag name to firewall underscore VPC underscore one. Okay, so we are going to create this firewall rule for VPC one. So that's why I'm going to change this tag name like this. So let's change this name to allow SSH and ICMP. So I'm going to give SSH access and ICMP access for this firewall rule. Okay, for VPC1. Okay, so that's why here I'm giving like this. So in network, it was asking to which network we need to attach this firewall rule. So I want to attach to VPC1. Gcloud compute networks dot VPC1 dot self link. Okay, so here you can see now it is automatically this firewall rule will be associated to this VPC1, Gcloud compute networks dot VPC1. Okay, so here you can see Gcloud compute networks dot VPC1 dot self link. So it will, this firewall will be associated to a VPC1. So for this firewall rule, I'm going to allow ICMP, which is for ping, and ports I'm going to allow only 22 for SSH. Okay, so if you want to allow more ports, you can provide same like this 80 and 80 80 like this. So currently I want to allow only port 22, which is SSH. Okay, 22. And now source tags, let's remove this. We don't need this. Instead of this, let's provide source range. Let's provide 0.0.0.0/0. Okay, so now this firewall rule will be created for VPC1. So now we need to create for VPC2. Meanwhile, let's write like this: allow SSH and ICMP access for VPC1. Okay, let's copy this and let's paste it here. So now here I want to provide now for VPC2. Okay, so firewall rule VPC2. So here again for firewall it will provide this name LSSH ICMP VPC2. So this is the firewall rule name. So I want to attach this firewall for VPC2. Okay, now dot self link Google compute network dot VPC dot self link. So now this firewall 2 will be attached to this VPC2. Okay, so here you can see Google compute network dot VPC2. So Google compute network dot VPC dot self link. Okay, so now this firewall rule will be attached to our VPC2. So here also I'm going to allow port ICMP and TCP, which is port 22, and source range I'm going 0.0.0.0/0. Anyone can access. Okay, so now at last we are going to create a compute engine. That means virtual machine. Up to now we created, here you can see up to now we created VPC1, VPC2, and we created subnet 1, and we associated the subnet 1 for VPC1, and we created subnet 2 and we associated this subnet 2 to VPC2, and we created two firewall rules and VPC firewall rule VPC1 we associated to VPC1, and second firewall we associated to VPC2. Okay, so now we need to create virtual machine. So let's keep the name like VM. Okay, so let me jump on to Chrome again, and here search for Terraform code to create GCP VM, and open this first link. Here you can see Google Compute Instance. We are going to create a compute instance, right? So that's the one. So we don't need this service account. We already provided this. So here you can see Google Compute Instance. So copy up to copy this entire resource up to here. Let's copy this and let's come to VS Code and let's paste it here. So now we are going to create this virtual machine with two network interfaces. Okay, so this is the main thing. So now let's modify this entire resource. Gcloud compute instance VM-Terraform. So let's give the name like this. So let's give instance name. So if you want to pass this instance name from variable.tf file, let me open this variable.tf file. You can copy this and paste it here, and let's give the name like VM name. Okay, so this is GCP VM name. So this is the description, and type is string, and let's give the VM name like mm, VM hyphen Terraform, or else let's give the name like VM with 2NIC. Okay, so we are going to create VPC with sorry, VM with two network interfaces, like, so that's why for VM I'm giving this name. So now we need to provide var.vm name. So let me remove this var.vm name. So it will take that name from variable.ef file. So now machine type, I know I don't need N2 standard, so minimum I need E2 medium. So that's why here I'm going to provide E2 medium. So here E2 medium comes with 2 CPUs and 4 GB of memory. Okay. So here zone, I'm going with US Central 1A. I think I have provided here. So here you can see var.zone US Central 1A. So now let me come here. Let me remove this var.zone. So it will automatically take this zone US Central 1A. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's pass this machine type also. Okay. From variable.tf file. So it will be easy. Let me copy this. Let me change this to machine type. So let's give like this. So this is GCP VM machine type. So type is string, and we need to pass our machine type, which is E2 medium. Copy this, come to provider.tf file and paste it in default. Okay. So now we need to change this to var.machine type. Okay. So same like this, you can pass your variables, guys. Okay. Machine type. Okay. So now I'm going to remove these tags. So boot disk. So this is the main thing. So here I'm going to create this virtual machine with the Debian image. Okay. And after that, for this virtual machine, let's provide size with 15 GB. So that means I'm going to create this virtual machine with 15 GB of storage. So by default, if you are not providing this, it will create with 10 GB of storage. Okay. So if you want to create 50 GB of storage, you can directly provide as 50, or else 100 means 100. So by default, if you are not providing this entire size, so here you can see, so if you are providing like this, if you're providing like this, by default it will create with 10 GB of storage. Okay, so currently I want to create with 15 GB of storage, so that's why I'm going to provide 15 GB. Okay, so labels, I'm going provide the same value. So local SSDs, I'm not providing any of the local SSDs, so I'm going to remove this. So now this is the main thing. So this part is the main thing, guys, network interfaces. Okay, so now let me go to Google Cloud Console, and let me open compute engine in a new tab. I'm not going to create a virtual machine, but I'm going to explain you the scenario. Okay, so let me open here virtual machines. And when you create your virtual machine, so initially first you need to provide the name of the virtual machine, and after that you need to select zone, and here, and after that you need to select region, and after that you need to select zone. Okay, US Central 1A. So when you observe these Terraform scripts, so first we provided name, and we provided machine type, and we provided zone. Okay, so here machine type. Okay, so here you can see, so when comes to machine configuration, here we need to provide machine type. So here machine type, I'm going with E2 medium. It comes with 2 CPUs and 4 GB of memory, right? So here you can see machine type, I'm going with E2 medium. So let me see, here you can see E2 medium. So same name here, from here you can take that name E2 medium. So it comes with 2 CPUs and 4 GB of memory. So up to now it is complete. So let me open this, and after that, which is boot disk. Okay, so let me come here and directly select your OS and storage. So here you can see this is the boot disk. Directly select your change. So here first we need to provide operating system of our virtual machine. So here I'm going with the default, which is Debian. So here you can see this is the Debian image. So after that we need to select size of our virtual machine. So size is nothing but volume, guys. Okay, so by default it comes with 10 GB. Okay, so if you are not providing this size. By default it creates with 10 GB. So if you want to create with 15 GB, you can directly select here 15. Okay, so I'm going with 15 and directly select here select. Automatically here you can see we have selected here 15. So I'm not going to create manually, guys, so I'm going to explain you just. Okay, so now this is the main thing, networking. So in this video, the main thing is we are going to create a virtual machine with two network interfaces. Okay, so if you create manually, so you need to create first two different VPCs. Okay, so here you need to provide VPC1. Okay, and automatically it will take subnet. And in network, if you want to create with the second network interface, here you need to select add a network interface, and here you need to provide second network interface, that means VPC2. So this is the public VPC. Here you can automatically it is showing two network interfaces. So if you want to create manually, you need to do like this. So if you want to create this using Terraform, okay, previously here you can see we created two VPCs, right? So we are going to create these two VPCs and two subnets to this VM. Okay, so here you can see by default in Terraform scripts in networks it is taking default. So if you provide here default, by default this virtual machine will be created under default VPC. Okay, so currently I don't want to create under default VPC. I want to create under my custom VPCs. So G Cloud Compute, sorry, Google Cloud, sorry, not Google Cloud, Google Compute Network. Okay, Google Compute Network dot VPC1 dot self link. Okay, so I'm going to create this virtual machine under VPC1. So now we need to provide subnetwork. So subnetwork is this one. Okay, this one. Copy this entire thing. Copy this. So why? Because means here you can see we created VPC1 and we associated this subnet 1 for VPC1. So here you can see in networks gcloud compute networks dot VPC1 dot self link. That means we associated this subnet 1 for this VPC1. So same you need to provide here. So under subnetworks, paste it here and remove this commas dot subnet 1 dot self link. Okay, so now this VM first interface will be taken this VPC1 and subnet 1. Okay, now we need to create second network interface. So directly copy this and come down and paste it here. So here you can see access config means uh, ephemeral public IP. So it will provide external public IP address for this virtual machine. So if you are not providing this external IP will not be allocated for this virtual machine. So now let's do one thing. So for network interface 1, let's create external IP, and for network interface 2, let's remove external IP. Okay, so let me remove this VPC2 dot self link. Okay, so now network interface 2, I'm going VPC2. So same like this, provide VPC subnet 2 dot self link. Okay, and here I'm going to remove this, just remove this and remove this places also. So let's write like no external access for second interface. Okay, so for network interface 1, it will create external IP. For network interface 2, we are not providing external IP. Okay, so now let's leave this metadata. So this service account, this is not necessary, let's remove this. Okay, and let's remove this metadata startup script, which is it will display it will create a file like text.txt and it will store echo hi. Okay, so here you can see these are the two main things. We are going to create this VM with this two network interfaces. Network interfaces is nothing but we are going to create with VPC1 and VPC2. Okay, so let's run this file. So before running this, let me come out. Let me select here compute engine. So let me open VPC network also in a new tab. So here you can see currently we don't have a single EC2, sorry, single virtual machine on Google Cloud, and we don't have VPC1 and VPC2. Okay, so now let's do one thing. In variable.tf file, we are going to pass this default values like this, right? So if you want to still pass values in terraform.tf state file, you can directly create a file like terraform.tf state. Okay, create this file and open this file. Sorry, we are creating Terraform state, right? Sorry for this. Move to recycle bin. Okay, create a file with terraform.tfvars. Okay, so now if you want to pass this default values from tfvars file, you can directly copy this GCP project ID, come here, paste it here. Now equal to and open braces and copy this project ID. Okay, copy this project ID and come here and paste it here. Okay, so now this variable.tf file will fetch this value from this tfvars. Okay, so let me comment this. Let me comment this. Okay, so let's select here region, copy this, come here, region is equal to, I want to create in this region. So now let's come here, zone, I want to create under US Central 1A, copy this, come here, now here, zone, I want to create in this zone. Okay, so now I want to pass this virtual machine name from terraform.tf first. So let me copy this and VM name. I'm going to remove this and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, at last I'm going to pass this machine type from here from terraform.tf state. Okay, machine type which is E2 medium. So now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to comment this. Sorry, not copy. Okay. So now I'm commented this all. So this variable.tf file will fetch these values from terraform.tf. Okay. So now here you can see I'm going to once again explain you. So initially when we are going to write provider.tf file, we are going to take provider as Google and we are going to pass this project. We need to pass project ID and region and zone, and we need to pass credentials. So these credentials is used to authenticate with our Google Cloud account. So in this keys.json file, it contains service type is service account, and we have project ID and private key ID, private key, client email, client ID, authentication URL, token URL. So this all details are used to authenticate with our Google Cloud account. Okay. So in main.tf file, we are going to create two different VPCs and we are going to create two subnets. So subnet 1 we are going to associate to VPC1 and subnet 2 we are going to associate to VPC2. And after that we are going to create two firewall rules. Okay. So first firewall rule we are going to associate for VPC1 and second firewall rule we are going to associate for VPC2. And at last we are going to create a virtual machine with two network interfaces. Okay. So these are the two network interfaces. Network interface 1 is VPC1 and network interface 2 is VPC2. For network interface 1, we are going to allow external IP. For network interface 2, we are not providing external IP address. Okay. So now let's run this file. So let me open terminal, run add to terminal. So here in backend.tf file, we are going to store our Terraform state file in cloud storage bucket. Okay. So this is our bucket name. Okay. So now let me hit Terraform plan here. Let me clear this screen. Why it is not working? Let me close this. Let me open terminal, run add to file. Okay, okay. So here you can see currently we are in inside of this folder GCP-network. So we have all the files. So now let me clear the screen. So now let's do Terraform plan. So Terraform plan will display the resources what we are going to create. Okay. So let's wait. So here you can see plan 7 resources is going to create. So if you want to see all these resources, so here you can see first it is going to create a firewall rule VPC1, and after that firewall rule VPC2, and after that it is going to create a compute instance which is VM-Terraform, and after that it is going to create a VPC1, and after that it is going to create a VPC2, and after that it is going to create subnet 1, and after that it is going to create subnet 2. Okay, so these are the 7 resources. So now if you want to see whether these Terraform scripts are valid or not, so simple Terraform validate. So these scripts will display our Terraform code is valid or not. So here you can see success, the configuration is valid. So now here you can see in provider.tf file it is for template formation is not good. So if you want to keep this in proper format, there is a command Terraform fmt. So it will keep our code in proper format. So here you can see automatically backend.tfl, main.tfl, provider.tfl, and terraform.tf pairs and variable.tfl. All these files has been modified. So here you can see now it is showing in a proper way. In backend.tf, here you can see it was formatted in a proper way. In main.tf file, it will format in a proper way. Okay. So now let's run this file. Okay. Let me keep it here. So before running this, again I'm showing you. Here you can see we don't have even single VPC. We don't have a single VPC. When I refresh this, we have only the two VPCs, which is default and public VPC, but we don't have VPC1 and VPC2. Okay. So now when I run this file, it will create VPC subnets, and it will create VM with two network interfaces, and it will store Terraform state file in cloud storage bucket. Okay. So now Terraform apply auto approve. So now this will create entire resources, guys. Okay. So here you can see VPC1 and VPC2 is going to create first. Let me come here and let me refresh this. So here you can see both the VPCs has been created, but currently subnets are 0 and firewalls are 0. So let me refresh this. Let me come here. So still VPC1 and VPC2 is creating. So here you can see firewalls and subnets are going to create. So let me come here and let me refresh this page. So currently, so here you can see both the subnets has been created and associated for VPC1 and VPC2, and firewalls are created and associated for VPC1 and VPC2. Now compute engine will be created. So here you can see still subnets are creating. So let's wait. So now within some time VM will be created. So let me refresh this. So still it is not showing. So let's wait. So here you can see instance VM-Terraform it is creating. So let me refresh this. Let me refresh. So here you can see VM with two NIC, two network interfaces. So we created in US Central 1A. Okay. So here you can see currently we have two internal IPs, but we have only single external IP. Why? Because means here you can see in Terraform scripts. So currently here you can see VM is still creating. So meanwhile I will explain you. Why? Because means we created this VM with two network interfaces, but for network interface 1 only we are going to provide external IP. For network interface 2 we are not providing external IP. So here you can see we haven't provided this access config, so that's why it is created with single uh, IP. Okay, single external IP. So if you want to see these two network interfaces, so here you can see our configuration is complete. Apply complete resources 7 has been created. So if you want to list this all resources, Terraform state list, it will display all the resources. So let's wait. So here you can see VPC1 has been created, VPC2 has been created, virtual machine has been created, VPC. So sorry, this is the firewall rule VPC1. Okay, firewall rule VPC1 has been created, firewall rule VPC2 has been created, virtual machine has been created, and VPC1 has been created, VPC2 has been created, and subnet 1 has been created, and subnet 2 has been created. Okay, so by hitting Terraform state list, you can display the resources what you have been created. Okay, so now let me see the two network interfaces. You can directly open this virtual machine, and you can directly come down, and here you can see under network interfaces, we created with two network interfaces. So here you can see VPC1 is created under subnet 1, and here you can see for this we can see external IP. For subnet 2, that means for VPC2, we don't have external IP, none. Here you can see, if you observe this Terraform scripts, for here you can see network interface 2 we created under VPC2 and subnet 2, and we haven't provided external IP for this network interface 2. So that's why here for VPC2 and subnet 2, here it is showing none. Okay. So let me select here VMs. So now let's test this configuration. Okay, directly select here SSH. So meanwhile, let's jump here. So here you can see VPC1 and VPC2. So if you select here VPC1 and if you select here subnet, so here you can see subnet 1 has been created and it is associated to our VPC1. So if you select here firewall and if you drop down this, here you can see 𝐿O/SSH ICMP VPC1. So if you observe Terraform scripts, so here you can see 𝐿O/SSH ICMP VPC1. So same name it is created with the same name. Okay. So we have given access for port 22 and ICMP for ping. Okay. So let me select here authorize first. Okay. So now let's come here. So let me select VPC2 now. Okay. So if you select VPC2 and it will create with subnet 2. Okay. Here you can see subnet 2 has been created and it is associated to our VPC2. If you select here firewalls, this firewall rule will be created and it is associated to our VPC2. So here you can see 𝐿O/SSH ICMP VPC2. It is created and we have given port 22 and ICMP access. Okay. So this is how you can create. So now let me come here. So here you can see successfully it is connected to our virtual machine. So if you select here IP-A, so here it will display two network interfaces 10.0.1.2, 10.0.2.2. Okay. So if you come here and if you select here VM, so here you can see 10.0.1.2, 10.0.2.2, and it is created with two network interfaces. So if you want to ping to these two network interfaces, copy this network interface 1 IP, or else here also you can see 10.0.1.2. Okay, you can copy this ping 10.0.1.2, copy this, paste it here, enter. So here you can see ping is going in, it is coming back. Okay. So now if I test for network interface to ping, and we need to paste that private IP here 10.0.2.2. So here you can see ping is going in, it is coming back. So it is created with two network interfaces. Okay. So this is how you can create a GCP VM with two network interfaces on Google Cloud using Terraform. Okay. So I will provide this complete code on GitHub repository or else on Medium blog. So I will provide that on my video description. Okay. So already previously I created manually. So if you haven't watched that video, please do watch that video. Okay. So first do manually. After doing manually, create this entire resources using Terraform. So now if you want to destroy this entire resources, simple Terraform destroy hyphen hyphen auto hyphen improve. So now this will destroy entire resources. Okay, like it will destroy VPC, subnets, firewalls, compute instance, and everything. Okay, so currently it is refreshing. So let's wait. It is refreshing our state file. So our state file will store in backend. Backend we are using Google Cloud Storage. Okay. So currently here you can see firewalls are destroying. So if you want to see that, come here, and currently here you can see firewalls, it is showing one. Let me refresh this. So here you can see firewalls has been deleted successfully. So now let's see, after firewalls, subnets and VM will be deleted. So here you can see our virtual machine is going to delete VM-hyphen Terraform. So let me come here and let me refresh this. So here you can see this instance is being stopped. So that means this instance is going to terminate state. Okay. So let's wait. So it is terminating. So virtual machine has been terminated. So currently subnet 1 and subnet 2 is terminating. Okay, so let me close this. Let me come here, let me refresh this. So here you can see our virtual machine has been terminated. So now both the subnets will be terminated after. So here you can see both the subnets has been terminated. After terminating subnets, our virtual machine will be terminated. So here you can see virtual machine is virtual machine 1 is destroying, and after that virtual machine 2 will be destroyed. So here you can see virtual machine 1 and 2 is going to destroy. So let's wait. Still it is destroying. So here you can see destroy complete. 7 resources has been destroyed successfully. So, and yes, that's it for today's video. So I will provide this complete source codes on my video description. Okay. So before doing this, try to do manually. So previously I created video how to create this entire resources manually. Okay. So first do that video, and after completing this, try to using Terraform. Okay. So, and the one thing is, after completing your labs, try to delete this keys.json file from your service account. So if you delete this keys.json file, no one can authenticate with your Google Cloud account. So this is the main thing. Okay. So if you want to delete that, directly come here and navigate to IAM and directly select here service accounts and open your service account. So Terraform GCP-SCA. So this is the service account I have been created. So let me open the service account and directly jump onto keys and directly, so this is the service account we created. So directly select this, delete and delete. Okay, so this is the best practice, guys. So now no one can, so even you can, you also cannot communicate with your Google Cloud account. Okay, so if you want to again communicate with your Google Cloud account, simply you need to create a service account JSON file. You can directly select your add keys and create new keys. So here you need to select JSON and you can directly select that key, and you need to provide that key here. Okay, you need to convert to keys.json and you need to provide that name here. Okay, so and yes, that's it for today's video. And if you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and see you in the next video, and bye.